It's fair to say, I suppose, that as long as Northern Ireland has more Protestants than Catholics, it will stay part of the United Kingdom. But does the narrowing gap between them, revealed in the latest census, mean a united Ireland could be coming into view? Certainly Sinn Féin thinks so, and that's why, as Stephen Dempster reports, they're pressing for the border question to be put to the vote.
Sinn Féin launched their campaign for a border poll. Gerry Adams believes that people in Northern Ireland, including unionists, are increasingly embracing their Irish identity.
That only 40% of citizens there stated that they had a British-only identity.
But is he right when he says the mood is shifting towards thoughts of uniting Ireland? The Good Friday Agreement allows for a referendum. If Westminster believes, there may be a majority in Northern Ireland who want to end partition. So far, the response to Mr Adams has been blunt.
My feeling is that the conditions which require a border poll are certainly not present in Northern Ireland, and certainly we have no plans to call one at the moment.
For Sinn Féin, however, this is simply a delay en route to the longer-term target of a poll by 2020. Because Republicans never saw the Good Friday Agreement as a final settlement.
This is part of the British state, temporarily or permanently, but only conditionally, for as long as the majority of the people want that to be so. This was not, from Sinn Féin's point of view, a settlement. It was an agreement on a journey, and the core of it is that it's a roadmap towards democracy and equality.
The future direction of Northern Ireland, be it sticking with the Union or moving to Irish unity, has traditionally been predicted by a sectarian headcount. It's been assumed that Protestants are all Unionists, Catholics are all nationalists, and as long as Protestants are the majority, the Union will remain.
That has been a pretty crude way of trying to work out what the current levels of support are for a united Ireland or for Northern Ireland remaining within the UK. I think in recent years there's also this emerging other category, people who say that they're Northern Irish.
A sign of this change came in the recent census figures, which revealed 1 person in 5 now says he or she is primarily Northern Irish rather than British or Irish. It suggests these people don't conform to type and their votes are up for grabs, and it has opened up a new battleground between unionism and nationalism.
The phrase Northern Irish, I suppose, is in some ways very ambiguous. Both sides sort of try to claim them as either for United Ireland or for the United Kingdom. In truth, I think people don't really know how those people would vote in a border poll.
In this new landscape, Sinn Féin argues the census indicates the pieces of their plan are coming together. They say many Protestants or Unionists are relaxed about calling themselves Irish, albeit Northern Irish. The question is, can Republicans convince these people to share their goal of a united Ireland?
Sinn Féin has a huge challenge to persuade Unionists that their future is best in an all-Ireland context. I don't minimise that for 1 second. But I think there are lots of indications that people out there are at least up for those arguments.
So are Unionists up for the debate? After Gerry Adams called for a poll, the DUP surprisingly said they were considering it.
I think the DUP floated this idea seemingly intentionally. Arlene Foster, I think, quite deliberately said that the DUP could be persuaded to call Sinn Féin's bluff on this. But I think that there has been considerable rowing back since then, and there's certainly very little indication that the DUP are serious about this.
But with tensions already high over the flag, there are those who would see the calling of a border poll as likely to further destabilise unionism.
It would really, I suppose, send people back to the trenches in many ways, and that would be a huge decision to take, particularly at a time when Peter Robinson has been making much of the fact that Northern Ireland's position is settled, we're secure within the Union.
This year,
publicly at least, the DUP are bullish.
Republicans asking for a border poll makes turkeys voting for Christmas look like a carefully considered strategy.
But are the DUP right to make their own assumption that there is a significant block of Catholics who don't vote Unionist in elections, but would actually back the Union. Richard Doherty is a practising Catholic from Londonderry, who is also pro-Union. His father was a British soldier, and he was in the RUC Reserve.
Being a Catholic never, to my mind, excluded me from being pro-Union. I think there's a large number of people who are like that. I think a very large proportion of Catholics would vote to stay in the United Kingdom because they feel that in many ways, socially and economically, they're better off.
So we're talking about British identity?
Uh-huh.
This is British identity?
This is British identity, yes. What remains of it is still under siege.
British he may be, but Richard has never voted for a Unionist party. So does that mean Gerry Adams could at least engage him on the idea of a united Ireland?
There isn't anything that Gerry Adams could say that would convince me that a united Ireland would work, particularly a united Ireland that had Gerry Adams in any position of power.
But just how representative is this view? As the census showed, the new Northern Ireland is embracing multiple and mixed identities, where people no longer designate themselves as just British or Irish, raising questions about its constitutional future.